Okay, go ahead.
Okay, fine. Welcome to the digital business case of Cisco. This presentation is going to consist of a timeline in which the decade of the 90s, from 2000 to 2010, and from this one to 2020, are going to be explained through the most remarkable events of Cisco. At the end of this point, we are going to see some plans that Cisco is currently developing for the following years. So we hope you enjoy this presentation. So without further delays, Cisco, welcome to the Human Network. But first, let me introduce you to the professional team involved in this enormous research. Jean-Jacques, Jose, Antonio, Eliana, Almeida, Fernando, and finally me. So now, the decades of the 90s.
Leonard Bosek and Sandra Lerner were scientists at Stanford University in the 1980s. They developed a system that allows computers in different networks to communicate each other. So they created Cisco at 1984. The name comes from a special situation. From the window, they used to see a San Francisco sign, but a tree obscured a part of it, so they only read Cisco. This company was the first one that successfully marketed the first router. So in the decade of 90s, they decided to change their philosophy from one traditional to one that embraced the continuous change of in the technological field. Also, they realized that people are the more important assets regards the innovation and improvement of new products. That's why they decide to create an acquisition-based strategy to increase their adaptation to new markets with high returns and to expand the company to around the world.
So we go across time, and this change of philosophy, this change of the strategy, make Cisco one of the most valuable companies in the entire world. They implemented a strategy that allowed them to innovate and create a fast way to develop new products into the market. During the 1996 until the 2000, a crazy bubble of acquisition took place. Cisco tried to develop their own products themselves, but however, if past 100 days they did not fulfill their objectives, they make an intense research in the market and try to look for a product with similar characteristics of a company that produced it in order to acquire it. The interesting facts about this acquisition strategy is that they didn't apply the layoff card with the new employees that were part of the takeover. They bet for a climate of exchange of information and experience between the old employees and the acquired ones. This helped release stress in the takeover for the new employees. And we go ahead in time until 1997. 1997 till today, Cisco bets for alliances with governmental and educational institutions. They open their doors to communities and people that are willing to learn tech skills through the Networking Cisco Academy. This academy is available online, which gives it the property of ubiquity. You can access it whenever you want, wherever you want. As well, Cisco Vets puts their efforts on a networking that is full of partnership, so it creates a pool of shared knowledge.
Fine. Now we are in 1999, and this year Cisco made a big partnership with IBM Alliance, in which some purchase of technology, infrastructure, knowledge, equipment was bought by $2 billion. It was a huge amount. And in order to jointly develop solutions for the customers' e-business and networking needs. As the senior vice president of Cisco said, this time the internet was changing everything, was changing the future of all businesses. So this alliance will bring a great value to our mutual customers by partnering to migrate them toward the new world internet-based business processes. So this is not a common event, since two huge companies doesn't merge, very common. But as the senior vice president of Cisco said, this wasn't a normal time. This was the internet that was changing, was disrupting everything, and in order to grow better, they had to partnership with IBM Alliance.
This is what I was talking about earlier. You can see that past 1996, acquisition strategy start to grow exponentially. And thus, you can see the graphic below, that the income, the revenue, start as well growing exponentially. Because it's correlated, it's not any type of coincidence.
Well, as you can see, in 2006, Cisco discovered the growth of emerging markets in new countries. But most of these countries didn't have telecommunication infrastructure, so they see an opportunity to surpass other countries in technology. Cisco also realized that selling network equipment was not enough. Due to that, Cisco launched educational incentives, such as the Network Academy, so they also share knowledge. But despite the challenges of technological, economic, and social changes in emerging markets, Cisco realized that modern internet-based communication are a necessary tool for success in a new global marketplace. Then you should know that there is a very high correlation between a country's information and communication technology infrastructure and its global competitiveness. Then in 2008, it started a transition from a siloed and outdated way of doing work that created duplicated work to a life cycle-based model with 6 stages. These are prepare, plan, design, implement, operate, and optimize. This increases specialization of individual team focus on every part of the process. This increases the efficiency. The communication in Cisco is open, the information flows in the organization, and everyone knows what to do. This change in the organization produces an increase of experts, more time to spend training and mentoring new employees. Finally, this also reduces unnecessary meeting by a 70–100% more or less, and client impacting incident went down another 50%.
Okay, let's continue with the different steps that led to Cisco's success today. So, in 2010, with the explosive growth of social media and online streaming, Cisco was found in an obligation to invest in network-based intelligence projects. Sorry. Yes, we network-based intelligence projects which centered around content sharing. One of those projects was Cisco Pulse, which is a vocabulary base and a search engines that can host in this up to 30 million records and give high-speed queries in a search time of milliseconds. In 2018, Cisco came with another strategy called the bridge to possible. The bridge to possible in Cisco word is the connection of people, ideas, things, and Cisco network. It's also a great way for Cisco to be in good relationship with your customers on social media like Twitter, Facebook, and so on. The bridge to possible, it's unique. It's unique in a way that it's the first one that ties all of Cisco aspects together, like its technology, the brand, and last but not least, the company's purpose.
I will continue talking about one of the most important Cisco acquisitions, and this recent acquisitions, and this acquisition was a company. This was an AI-driven startup that has really relevant information for Cisco. This had business intelligence information that helped Cisco make decisions in the selling process and also strengthen the current relationships in the market. So this was the speed strategy because they couldn't make this as fast as the company, and the company already had relevant information, so they acquired it. Then, in the history of Cisco, we can see a changing tendency. First, Cisco was more centered in the network domination and in the technology domination, and then they transitioned to a more product and client-oriented way of doing things. And for this, they created the WebEx contact center. That it was a contact center, cloud-based, that let clients talk about what they needed, their insights on the products, what they wanted, and this way they knew what the clients wanted, and they developed products personalized to the clients. This way, acquiring more feedback, and this was relevant for openness, autonomy, and increasing speed on the decisions. Then we can see a tendency on the corporate social responsibility, and Cisco has a really commitment with the planet and with increasing the impact on society. First, on the remuneration model, Cisco signed the White House Equal Pay Pledge that compromised with giving fair conditions to everyone, compromising with increasing the diversity, and paying according to what the effort of every person, independent of the race, the gender, everything. And finally, Cisco plans to transition to a circular economy in the next 5 years, and it has an ambitious plan to completely transition to a circular economy with circular design and manufacturing principles. This is how circular economy works, and some of the key milestones to achieve in 2025 are 100% of product will implement circular design, 20% decrease in plastic, 70% of manufacturing suppliers will achieve zero waste. So definitely we can see Cisco plans to impact the world in a good way, make people's lives better, and make the planet better. And I will continue with the conclusions.
Finally, if you should keep in your mind something about Cisco, for sure will be that first, Cisco reacted very fast to changes in their environment by innovating and creating new things. The second thing is that they knew that the most valuable asset they had was their people, and it was the duty of Cisco to take care of them. Also, they knew that if they wanted to go fast, they had to work alone. But if they wanted to go far, they had to work together. This is why Cisco opened the knowledge to share it with the world. All of this leads to a huge impact, such huge that Cisco was the most valuable company in the world. Thank you very much. This was